This is the report for the 2023 Hungarian Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen won his 7th race in a row. Of course, this season is even more dead than a famous triple Brazilian world champion. And that's my dog joke done for the day. Thank you for watching here at Crystal Racing. Okay. But yeah, Max Verstappen, A grade. I don't honestly know whether it's him or the car because, his teammate finished third. And we'll get on to him a bit later. Second place, Lando Norris. It's also an A+. It's an A+, I beg your pardon. McLaren, I'll give it 2004 fight, where they started the season off badly. And now all of a sudden, from Silverstone onwards, their car got better and now they're competitive again. And that's his 8th podium in Formula One, an incredible achievement for Lando, who has only ever driven one race-winning car, but of course that was 2021 Italy. Was a strange day in Formula One history. Third place, Sergio Perez. It's a C, qualified 9th. Yes, it's his best qualifying since Miami when he got pole. But my goodness me, even so, why he was 4 tenths slower than Max in qualifying? I mean, that's not good enough, honestly. And if a certain Australian at AlphaTauri improves, it could be curtains for Sergio. 4th place, Lewis Hamilton. It's an A-star. Did everything, squeezed everything he could out of that Mercedes, getting pole despite not actually being fastest in any sector during qualifying, but he got the lap together in Q3 when it really counted most. But unfortunately, he had a terrible start, being beaten by both McLarens and Max Verstappen onto the run up to turn 5. And to be honest, this car never really looked quick enough, but Lewis has had an exemplary weekend, a track he's won 8 times in his career, and that pole position was his 9th pole position ever at this circuit. He is a master at this track, but even so, that's not enough to overcome the shortcomings of this awful Mercedes. 5th place, it was Oscar Piastri, B+, great performance. Okay, he's still not quite on Norris's pace and consistency yet, but he's getting there, he's getting better. He was running second early on, but of course, inevitably, he was always going to drop down the order. But he can be very pleased with himself. P4 at Silverstone and P5 at Hungary. He's getting some consistency. He's getting more miles on the belt, under his belt, and he is going to start challenging Norris soon. P6 was it? Yeah, George Russell started 18th after messing up qualifying. I'll give him a B+. Decent comeback drive. But I have to say, he could have potentially have beaten Piastri if he hadn't been knocked out in Q1. P7 and P8, Leclerc and Sainz, I don't know which order they finished in. I'm just going to give them a B grade because, to be honest, at this point, watching Ferrari struggle is now just normal, service resumed. Leclerc picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lanes, but frankly, why are we even surprised at this point? This team is a mess. It's just another normal day at Marino. It's been the same story since 2009. I mean, all I can say is I'm glad that Kimi Raikkonen isn't even in Formula 1 anymore, and he doesn't even drive for this team because, when his car broke down for the final time at the 2018 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, I was like, yep, thank you, Ferrari, for everything you've done, because I don't ever want to lose another strand of hair over you. P9 and P10, Alonso and Stroll. I'll give a C grade to Alonso. Lance Stroll is disqualified. I know it was a good race, and if I was able to score him, I'd give him a C+, but yeah, as Alonso Martin Racing have completely dropped off the pace. All I'm now wondering is how long is it going to take for Alonso and the Stroll family to fall out with each other when he realises things are not going to be getting better anytime soon. P11, Alex Albon. Now, I know he only managed to finish here because, of course, the 2 Alpines and getting hit by Ricardo, who was hit by a certain Alfa Romeo driver I will get on to soon. It's got to be a B plus, I suppose. Got knocked down Q1, but of course the Mercedes, the Williams, I beg your pardon, is not quick around here. This is one of the worst tracks for Williams, who of course have a low downforce car, but even so, its performance in the race was very impressive. And frankly, I was there begging for Lance Stroll to breach track limits so that he would get a 5-second penalty and Albon would get point, but it wasn't meant to be. Even Lance Stroll is not, even he isn't that incompetent like I wish he was, but once again, Albon's fantastic season continues. Logan Sargent is just getting destroyed out here, we're going to be honest. P12, Valtteri Bottas, I'll give him a C grade. Qualified 7th. So if you finish 5 places lower, well, Frank, I can't give you more than a C, but the Alfa Romeo car is really slow. And to be honest, I think the cars, of course, we have to remember there were a few cars out of place like Perez and Russell, so inevitably he was going to get beaten by them. And of course, well, it turns out to be his car just wasn't that great in the race anyway, so I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time, but at least he didn't get into trouble like a certain teammate of his. P13. Daniel Ricciardo is come back for AlphaTauri, great drive, out-qualified Tsunoda, got hit by behind by a certain Alfa Romeo, which meant, unfortunately, he took out 2 Alpines. I'll give him an A grade. Of course, my driver, and I think I will give driver of the day to Dan Ricciardo. P14, Nico Hulkenberg, B grade. That horse's race pace is absolutely awful. Got into Q3 yet again, outperforming the car qualifying. Can't comment anymore. P15. The reject of the day, Zhou Guanyu. It's an F grade. Watch the replays, it's clearly his fault. He goes and he had anti-stall kicked in. Now, fine, okay, you can't do anything about it. The anti-stall kicked in, it made him bogged down at the start, but in his frustration, he went and missed his braking point, slammed into the back of Ricciardo, who had nowhere to go but to give Gasly a love tap in the back, who had nowhere to go but to hit his teammate Ocon, meaning that for the second weekend in a row, Alpine scored no points, and now they are definitely, almost certainly not going to finish higher than P6 because a Chinese Communist Party puppet has no racecraft. That kid was crying over the radio when the incident happened, saying, "Oh, my engine cut out, my engine cut out." Well, yeah, fair enough, your engine cut out, but don't go and hit people, okay? You don't need to go and slam the brakes in frustration and anger and take your anger out on the drivers, like stupid driving. And then once the race finished, the post-race radio, he just kept crying about it, saying, "Did you see what happened to the engine at the start?" Like, yes, everyone knows what happened to your anti-stall system. Doesn't excuse you for missing your braking point because of the fact you fell miles down the order, okay? These things happen. And, you know, I could go on and talk about the Chinese Communist Party and talk about things they've done to my family, like send my Mexican great-grandmother to the gulag, and then, of course, misdiagnosed my grandmother with pneumonia when, in fact, she was dying of lung cancer. So, yeah, I mean, I have no time for this kid. Like, I don't care when he sits there and cries about people saying he's a victim of racism, because he's a privileged, pampered little child. I don't care. When you go and do things like that, I am not going to give you the time of day, okay? And frankly, with now Daniel Ricciardo back at AlphaTauri, I think it's safe to say Alfa Romeo have got the worst driver lineup on the grid. I already thought of that before this race review and before I even watched the race, but now, after witnessing what Zhou did at the start, I am absolutely 150% certain of my convictions. P16. Oh no, was it P? Oh dear, I'm lost. Was it? Oh no, Zhou finished 16th. Sorry, never mind. I finished 15th. I'm trying to think. Was it? Sorry. I beg your pardon. Tsunoda finished 15th. Yep, Tsunoda. I'll give him a I don't know, C grade. I can't remember where everyone else towards the back finish, but he got beat in qualifying by Ricardo. That's not a good sign. That really does make me wonder how bad De Vries really was. And I have to say this, I've always had a slight suspicion De Vries was seriously underperforming. Now don't get me wrong, Tsunoda was very good at the start of the season, but now his early season form is evaporated, and now he has now got a serious battle to get to, well, have a fight on his hands to have a seat in Formula 1 in 2024, because not only are Red Bull probably looking at him and thinking you're not good enough for the second seat at Red Bull, but I'm not sure Aston Martin are convinced, and I think Ayumi or Wilson might have a chance of coming down for Formula 1 next year. Tsunoda doesn't improve, to be honest. P16, ZHOU, I gave him an F grade. P17, and the last finisher, I think it was Kevin Magnussen, finished last. It's a D grade, just had no pace all weekend, and to be honest, I'm not sure whether he's going to be lasting in Formula 1 much longer either. And as for the three retirees, Logan Sargent, I don't even know how to grade him. C minus, just once again, slowest guy on the track. One of the slowest men on the track. And then had a late speed and had to retire because I think the tyres were gone, and Williams had ran out of tyres in the garage and they decided to park him a lap early. And as for the two Alpine boys, Ocon and Gasly, well, they had their races ruined at the start by a CCP merchant. You know, I want to give them a B grade, but we didn't even get a chance to see what they were going to do. They got knocked out in Q2, so I think the Alpine wasn't very quick. And it's not even Gasly, you know, because thought they were taken out by an... I don't even want to say it, because I'm going to end up getting my channel deleted by, you know, some people from China probably come over and say, oh, you, whatever nonsense. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next week at Belgium.